everyone. Welcome to the Happy Numbers Advanced Reporting webinar. My name is Emily and I am going to be your presenter today. I spent 10 years as a classroom teacher before stepping away to pursue other professional development opportunities. I connected with Happy Numbers 5 years ago and have watched this program advance to become an invaluable tool for reaching pre-K through 5 students of all math proficiency levels in the classroom. This program is truly one of a kind, and I'm excited to share all of the ways that you can use Happy Numbers in your classroom to support your students, no matter where they're at in their math learning journey. This webinar will cover various Happy Numbers reports and advanced features designed to provide you with actionable data and insights into student performance, growth, and skills development. Let's imagine that you've set up your Happy Numbers account, rostered your class, and you're on day 7 of your Happy Numbers experience. That means that your students have spent some quality time on the platform and it's time to check on them. I'll show you the most important things to do and what to keep track of. For demonstration purposes, I have a demo account populated with student data. This data is from last year, and I have a 4th grade classroom. The very first report that you will see after you log in is the weekly dashboard, and we recommend checking it at least once a week. This weekly dashboard is where you can track students' weekly activity and target completion, and this report also alerts you if anyone needs extra attention or intervention. The weekly dashboard is split into 2 parts. The upper section summarizes the students' weekly activity on Happy Numbers. The activity diagram shows you how many students logged in to Happy Numbers this week and on each day of the week. If you're looking into the weekly dashboard for the running week, you'll also be able to see how many students are currently online. The target completion diagram outlines the number of students who completed their time target and the number of students who completed their task targets this week. Additionally, you can see your class distribution by time and target completion that week. Let's zoom in on the weekly targets available on Happy Numbers. There are 2. The weekly time target is the minimum number of minutes that students are recommended to practice with Happy Numbers per week. By default, it is set to 45 minutes. The weekly task target is the minimum set number of tasks per week that the students are expected to complete. It is calculated automatically for each student based on their current assignment and their weekly time target. Each student can see and track their progress towards achieving individual weekly targets in their account. Even though Happy Numbers is designed in a way that encourages students to collect rewards for hitting their weekly targets, it's a good idea to offer some additional incentives. Some teachers choose to run weekly or monthly math challenges or marathons in their classroom or across grade levels, and they give small rewards to students who consistently hit their time and task targets. You could consider coming up with a similar activity with your class. The lower section hosts the individual students' weekly results. Students are split into different ability groups based on their placement test results. You'll first see students placed before the current grade level, then students on current grade level, and for each student, you're going to be able to check their daily and weekly time spent using Happy Numbers, what fraction of time and task targets they completed, the total number of tasks solved, the weekly accuracy rate, which compares the number of successful attempts to solve a task to the total number of attempts, their next grade readiness, and the current area of focus. We know how important it is to identify students that are struggling and need additional help, and more importantly, to provide timely intervention. In the weekly dashboard, we have a key feature aimed at specifically doing that. The struggle alert, for most of you, is something that you're going to want to take a close look at. Struggle alerts are indicated with this red triangle. If you've previously reviewed a struggle alert, it will still show up, but it will be gray. Let's use Adam's week and explore the data that we have for him. You can see that he spent 37 minutes on Happy Numbers out of a 45-minute target. He solved 12 tasks and had 2 more to go to reach his task target. His accuracy for the week is 91%, and he has just 1 week to go to reach 4th grade readiness. It's important to pay attention that Adam has a struggle alert indicated by this red triangle. Let's click the drop-down arrow on the right side of the screen for more detailed information. By opening this section, you will see the list of tasks that this student has solved this week, including a red alert symbol next to the one that caused problems. To spot only the ones that cause problems, you can select Show Only Struggle Tasks. We recommend resolving this exercise with the student to find out where the points of difficulty are. To do this, click on the task's name to open it and ask the student to solve it alongside you. You can check mistakes or misunderstandings together, and that may help you determine what type of support is needed, whether it's a quick explanation or some additional practice. Since we introduced the struggle alert, teachers often ask us, how does the program determine the need for intervention? Sometimes a low accuracy rate doesn't necessarily mean a student has gaps in understanding. If he solves 1 out of 2 problems correctly with an accuracy rate of 50%, a simple typo could be the reason. However, if he solves 4 out of 8 problems correctly, the same accuracy rate of 50% is more problematic. That's why our methodologists have developed a unique algorithm that's going to highlight only the tasks where the number of mistakes is significant. The next report I want to share with you is the skills report. The diamond sitting in between our reports is the skills report. This report is going to show you the current level of mastery of your students on particular math skills, and it's also going to flag the students who need help. So the more time that your students spend on happy numbers, the more accurate this specific report is going to be. In the skills report, we use 4 different colors: red, yellow, green, and gray. To assess a student's skill level, the program is going to look at the last 20 attempts to solve the problems on that skill. It'll analyze the type of exercises that the student is solving, whether it was a concrete or abstract assignment, and then measure the student's accuracy. So if the level of mastery is at least 80%, it will be green. Students who are developing skills with at least 60% accuracy are going to be marked in yellow. And your students in red is where you're going to want to prioritize your small group or one-on-one support because it represents skills that your students may still need help with. If we don't have enough information to assess the student, we color the skill gray. Don't worry, we'll update this information as soon as your student completes skill-related tasks. So if you want to have up-to-date information, we recommend your students spend 45 minutes per week on happy numbers. To make this report easy to read and navigate, we split all of the skills your students need to learn into several domains, like numeracy, addition, subtraction, and so on. At the top in the diagram section, you will see your students and their skill level distribution in each domain. By hovering over the bars, you can see detailed information, the names of the students, the help that is needed, and the number of students with the mastered skills that still need to be determined. All of the names are clickable, so you can go directly to the domain, skill, and student that you're interested in, and you will see only the domains that are related to your grade level. You can also choose to change the grade level within a domain. By clicking on a student's name or an arrow, we can see the skill's accuracy, the task the student has solved, and the time on each task. The tooltip on time will show you the time we expected the student to be solving the problem. You can also click on the task name and see where the student has struggled. If you want to see the whole picture for these students, you can go to the Summary tab and see the information for each grade. I do want to talk about the little silhouette person. This means that this student is still solving problems within those skills. It can sometimes be yellow or even red, which shouldn't be an immediate cause for concern. This just means that they are at the beginning of their journey and still working on this skill and just may need more time to master it. If we scroll down, we can see that I have a couple of students with a silhouette. But if a student doesn't spend enough time in happy numbers, it's going to be difficult for the program to objectively assess their skills. In this case, you will see a gray clock next to the student's name. Again, I have a demo account, so it's going to say that several of my students haven't been practicing. If more than 50% of your students don't visit happy numbers for a month, you will see a banner that says outdated data. To save you time, we also have a filter that really just narrows down and shows you the students who need help in a particular domain. You can use this filter to show only students that need help. Let's look at students that have a skill that they're struggling with currently in the numeracy domain. I can see I have quite a few who need additional targeted practice with rounding to tens and rounding to hundreds. If I want to address rounding to hundreds with my students, I can use the Assignments tab to assign additional practice. Happy Numbers carefully adjust the curriculum for each student's needs, but we know that in some cases, as mentioned before in the skills report, you need targeted practice on a specific skill. That's why we've added an assignment feature. Here are some ways that you can use effectively the assignment feature. You can differentiate instruction, assigning tasks to students accordingly based on a lesson topic. You can also assign tasks tailored to each student's learning pathway and combine what you see on the skills report tool to provide students opportunities to work on skills that they need to develop. You can even use assignments as an assessment tool. Let me show you how this feature works. First, click on the Add Assignment button. Note, you can only assign the curriculum to students who have completed the placement test. Here at the top, you're going to see all of my students as they're grouped based on their current grade level. Using the skills report, I identified that some of my students needed additional targeted practice, and I want to assign it to them now. I'm going to choose the students who needed to work on rounding up to hundreds. Next, we need to select the assignment size. The assignment time is the average number of minutes that an on-grade student takes to complete it. If the assignment grade level is higher or lower than the student's grade, the time could vary. I will go ahead and assign the 15 to 20 minute task set. Next, I'm going to select the skills to assign. My students are below grade level. I'm going to go to that third grade rounding to hundreds section in the numeracy domain. As for the actual assignment, I'm going to choose the guided practice and regular practice. The main difference between these types of activities is that guided practice provides students with step-by-step instruction, and regular practice uses more abstract examples with explanations only in case of mistakes. You can preview the selected assignments button, as you can see here. The last step is to select the dates and to name your assignment. Once I click Assign to selected students, my work here will be done. The next time students log in during this window, they will see that I've assigned them additional practice. They need to complete it, and once they do, they will go back to their current curriculum pathway assigned by Happy Numbers. If students do not complete the assignment in the assigned time, it will be automatically canceled. A quick note is that last year, the time spent on assignments was not counted towards the student's weekly time and task target, but this school year, it will be accounted for. You can see in the student's weekly dashboard when they've completed an assignment, the amount of time that it took, and that it is now going to count toward their time and task target. It will be indicated with the letter A. So if you plan to assign additional targeted practice on a weekly basis, something regular, it might be a good idea to increase the time target for students. We don't want them to spend too much time on assignments. We want them to have a good balance between working in their platform, but also addressing the skills that are specifically outlined that they may be struggling with. Now let's go back to the assignment page. You can see here the list of assignments that are active, scheduled, and have ended. You can also see a summary for each assignment, like the number of students who completed the assignment and the students who need intervention. Students that need intervention are the students with low accuracy or students that took longer than expected to complete the task. You can also cancel an assignment for all students, reassign already ended assignments, or go into details and see the detailed report. For each student, we provide information about the status, accuracy, time spent, and this is also where you can cancel or reassign an assignment for individual students if, for example, students didn't have time to complete it, or if they really struggled and you want to go over it together. I can also go into detail and see the accuracy and time on a particular task. We know that you're busy, so if students spend 4 times more time on the assignment than the estimated average, we will cancel it automatically. We recommend assigning 10-minute sets to all students 1 to 2 times per week and 5-minute sets for individual students that struggle with certain skills. Since we're looking at the skills report, it's important to mention that there has been quite a bit updated since last year. And I want to point your attention to the new different statuses that will help you track student performance on your assigned targeted practice. A red cross indicates that the assignment has been canceled, and there are different reasons for cancellation. It can be canceled by the teacher, due to difficulty, or because the time expired. You can hover over to see the exact reason for cancellation. A blue check mark means that they completed that part of the assignment. A blue check mark with a red dot means that they completed that part of the assignment but struggled and need intervention. A gray silhouette with or without a red dot has the same logic as with the blue check mark. This symbol indicates that the student is in progress of solving the assignments, and the red dot represents the student is currently struggling. A circle means that the student has not started this part of the assignment. Let's look at Segi for example. He successfully completed the first assignment, counting to 1,000, and is now working on skip counting by 5s, 10s, 100s. The symbol here indicates that he's struggling, and obviously, since he is just on his second part of the assignment, he hasn't started the third one, hence the empty circle. These different statuses were designed to enable teachers to evaluate student performance at just a glance and make it easy to see what is going on with students working on that particular assigned practice. No matter how great our online features are, we understand the importance of keeping a balance between online and non-digital paper pencil work. Searching for high-quality additional non-digital math practice can be time-consuming and a problem for teachers. That's why we've decided to create our Printables library. The Printables library is aligned with Common Core and state standards and covers various math topics. Let me show you how this feature works. You can see the whole printable library grouped by grade and domain, the same domains you've seen in the skills report, and tagged by skill and standard, so you can use these like filters. Let's imagine that I want to assign additional support for my below grade level students and print out some printables for them. Remember my students that were struggling with rounding to 100? I'm going to use that as an example. I'm going to go to grade 3, and then I'm going to type in rounding to hundreds. Now I'm going to choose my printable. We created sets for the math skills to help you differentiate your math instruction in just a few clicks. One set can include up to 3 levels of difficulty. To switch preview between levels of difficulty, you can use these tabs. This one has an easy level to work with students who didn't understand the concept well. The medium level would be for students who need more practice, and the challenging level is for students who are ready to work with abstract tasks without visual support. To see these materials in detail, you can click on the printable set and have a look at the Create the PDF menu. You can switch between levels of difficulty and decide how many of each to print. If you have students who are English or Spanish speaking, you can also toggle between the language setting to print what you need for your students. Now let's look at some of the other printables. Sometimes you'll see a yellow cooperative symbol. You'll also see a triangle that lets you know that that particular worksheet may require some additional gathering of materials. It will never take longer than a couple of minutes to gather those materials, but we do like to give you a heads up. This cooperative button means that this printable contains a game, and it requires more than one student to play. This is a fun thing to do maybe on Friday, for example. This is how your weekly routine on Happy Numbers may look. But after a few months, you may need to assess students' math growth. Now we'll show you how to set up the assessments. If your students have worked on Happy Numbers for more than 2 months, now is a great time to set up a mid-year assessment. It's available starting December 1st and has a purpose of checking the student's math level again and readjusting the curriculum, maybe even moving them a little bit further if they've shown more mastery than expected. I have a demo account where the mid-year assessment has already passed. But setting the dates is the same for any assessment. Scheduling the test is super easy. You just click on the calendar icon and you're all set in just a few clicks. Set this test start date. The test results can be viewed in the assessment tab. Students are placed into one of 4 categories. Far below their grade level, pink dot. Below grade level, yellow dot. On grade level, green dot. And exceeding grade level, dark green dot. To show the results of the assessment for this school year, we've developed a Happy Numbers scoring scale. It's very easy to read and measure growth. You can click here to view this pop-up as a reminder of how to read your students' scores. The first letter or digit represents the grade level, and the next two digits show the percentage of the curriculum that they've mastered at that level. For example, if a student scores 210 on the placement test, it means that they understand about 10% of the second grade math curriculum. Happy Numbers Assessments is supported by Metrometrics Company, and all the assessment results are also available in quantiles scales. If you need the results in quantiles, you can reach out to us at support@happynumbers.com. Sometimes the results of the test may not accurately reflect a student's ability. This can happen if the student had a bad day or isn't feeling well or received help from a parent or fellow student. In such cases, you can reset the test. While the placement test determines the starting point, the goal of the mid-year assessment is not only to assess the growth, but also adjust the learning pathway. So if the result is higher than the current student's place in the curriculum, they're going to be moved to a further point. Otherwise, the student will continue the math journey from the same place that they started before taking the mid-year assessment. The replacement is visualized in the yearly dashboard. We have a yearly dashboard that gives you a helicopter view of your class progress. Let's check it out. It is split into two parts. The upper diagram shows your class grade distribution after taking the placement test at the beginning of the school year compared to the current grade distribution after a certain number of weeks of practice. The overall progress section illustrates how much progress your students have made so far so that you can get a feeling of the average progress in your class. The next grade readiness singles out those students who are ready for the next grade curriculum based on the content they've already mastered on Happy Numbers. This means they finished their current grade curriculum on the platform. It's also based on the end of year assessment, which you can set up in your teacher account closer to April. The lower part of the yearly dashboard is a table with students' individual progress results. You'll first see students who, after taking the placement test, were placed below their current grade level and have some catching up to do. This is then followed by the students who met their grade level expectation and are already starting with the current grade level curriculum. For each student, you will see the progress they've made, which is the percentage of the assigned grade level curriculum. 100% is a full year of current grade level curriculum and is equal to 1 year of growth. You'll see the average weekly time spent, their math growth journey starting from the placement point all the way to their current practice point, their placement test results in quantiles, also color-coded according to ability level, as well as the results of the other assessments included in your premium subscription, which are the mid-year and end-of-year assessments. The quantiles for these assessments are then compared to the results of the placement test to derive the student quantile growth, which is under the growth column. As I mentioned earlier, students can fall into 4 different categories. Students who are far below their current grade level have a pink dot. Students who are 1 grade level below have a yellow dot. Students who are on grade level have a light green dot. And students who exceed grade level expectations have a dark green dot. In the Happy Numbers score system, a growth of 100 indicates a 1 year's curriculum growth. As you can see, the report provides lots of information on student math progress and growth, which makes it perfect for sharing with your co-teachers, math coaches, administrators, and other stakeholders. The growth column shows the difference between the test results, and it's also possible for you to download this class yearly dashboard report as a PDF. Now we've covered most of the reports and features that Happy Numbers provides for the whole classroom. If you need a report for the individual student, you can click on their name in each report, and another tab with the individual student report will be opened. Here we gather information from all the reports we have about this student. We know that in some cases you need a report for parents to discuss their students' progress. For this purpose, we've created a parent report. This is a valuable tool that can be downloaded, and it shows the student progress and assessment results in a very simple language. Now let's have a recap of what we've discussed in this webinar. You're going to spend the most time looking at your weekly dashboard. You'll want to monitor those struggle alerts and provide intervention. You'll also want to keep track of your students and their successful completion of their time and task targets each week. Use the skills report as students start to spend more time on the platform to pinpoint skills and areas for you to reinforce in small group and one on one instruction. You can do this using our tools for differentiation, which include the digital assignments feature and the paper pencil printable activities. As you get closer, start thinking about setting up a mid year assessment. This allows you to see how much growth your students have made in the platform and update a student's learning pathway should they show more mastery than the program predicted. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Happy Numbers reports and all of our tips and tools for differentiation. We're always here to help, and if you have any questions, you can reach us at cs@happynumbers.com.